Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for July 18, 2021. This has been another great week of news coming from Transformers, coming from, believe it or not, Marvel and their next Haslab project, Star Wars Haslab project, and some G.I. Joe from Super 7. And yes, it's what you have been looking for. We're going to talk about this stuff coming up. Starting out, some really good stuff I see at Show Z, and let me tell you, I am definitely doing you a favor here. The second batch of the Fans Toys FT19 Apache Springer is in stock right now. If you have no confidence in what X-Transbots is putting out for over $200, this thing is $169.99. If you have all the other benefits with the premium, you'll get it a lot cheaper and you'll get all that bounce back on it. This is a great deal in 2021. Show Z also has all of the bugs in stock and out of stock. Forager is currently out of stock, but I know how to read Show Z. I think it will come back into stock over the next week. Just keep checking it daily. But I have my Forager on the way. I should never have sold it. I am glad I'm getting it back. I'm so happy to have that as part of my team again. Anyway, they got the other two bugs in stock and both the chest variants and all this stuff. Pricing is all over the place between $150 and $270 for the gray chest of this guy. So check that out if you want individual bugs. And we've got Fans Toys FT26 Hoist. Forgot what this guy was called. Is he Puller or something like that? Anyway, $50 down at Show Z will secure this thing for you in a day and age where it's almost impossible to get a Fans Toys pre-order. 50 down knocks it off of their low price down the road. I did that, and I'm not saying you have to do it or you should do it. I'm saying I did it. And last at Show Z, and if you missed out on the MP44 at $450, if you missed out on the first run of this with the white pelvis and all that stuff of the MP44 KO at 105, or the silver KO at 105, this is the weathered effect version. Of course, it carries a little higher price point at $115. Now, I imagine even the KOs are going to get more expensive down the road. I have the first two versions. I'm on the fence on getting this, but I don't think I have but like 4 or 5 days. These things sell out fast. So we've got Fans Toys actually showing off pictures of their parkour, or the FT53 figure of Cliff Jumper. It looks really good, really clean. Yes, I know the Takara version of Bumblebee, the MP whatever 2.0, does not look this clean. It does not look this good. So let's talk about this, and let's talk about a possible version of Bumblebee. Here's the back of this guy, and it is okay. It's sort of clean. The backpack looks a little weird, and it starts to make you wonder, you know, is this going to be an 80-step mini bot for a transformation? Still looks great. What's it look like in alt mode? It looks like this in alt mode. Yes, Super Tune. I wanted Super Tune all along. If you want like a real world car, there's already all those versions out there from the third parties, the MMCs and the X-Transbots and the Ace toys and all of those. They give you the real world. Fans Toys is giving you the cartoon accurate. I think they do that well. Here we are with some accessories and add-ons, and I really think this is very similar to what everybody else does, but it's actually a little bit more than what you usually get with accessories from Fans Toys. I think they felt like it was obligatory and you had to throw it in. Looks good. Hey, you can't have a Fans Toys reveal without a Digibash. And this looks good. I like the way this looks. I wonder what color tone of the windshields and the windows are going to go with. I like the look in this. So it looks great. Now let's talk about if they did a Bumblebee. I think if they did a Bumblebee, they would probably use one of their other subnames. Possibly launch a third subname. Would it be the Robot Paradise? Probably not. Would it be Perfect Fusion? Perfect Fusion would work name-wise for this, but who knows? So we got some additional images of Flames Toys Kurokari Victory Leo Black version, and here's the thing. This is an extremely limited piece, and the fact they're telling you production numbers is very interesting. 200 pieces for the animation comic game in Hong Kong, 200 pieces for the Wonder Festival Beijing, didn't that already happen? 200 pieces for the D4Toys.com, and 200 pieces for San Diego Comic-Con 2021. So this looks great. It looks amazing. It carries a very wonderful color scheme of the black and purple. We're going to see that again coming up from Hasbro. We're also seeing something else from Flame Toys, and this is the Furai model kit, and it is a redeco. It's really a nice looking, kind of a Nemesis Prime kind of look there to it. 200 pieces for animation comic game in Hong Kong, 200 pieces for Wonder Festival in Beijing, and 100 pieces for the D4Toys.com, and 300 pieces for San Diego Comic-Con. So probably that's the best way to get it, is whoever's distributing the Comic-Con, the SDCC stuff. Still looks great, all that articulation. Guess what? Does not transform. So we got some pictures of side by side. I believe this is two figures with just different heads of the Mastermind Creations, the R49 Mentis. It's via Hard Return is the person who posted this. Looks really good. This is a cool kind of a part of a spin-off of Transformers that I'm not so into, but I do appreciate it, and it's pretty exciting. I do think this is a very quality MMC product. Looks great. We also got what I believe is some of the earliest and first in-hand images of the JX Metal Beast Cold Dragon by it's Heaven on Weibo. This figure is amazing. It's my favorite character from Beast Wars, and yes, Beast Wars Transmetals 2, whatever, but the red version of the Red Dragon. This is recolored and redecoed, and I think this one in the vintage line is extremely hard to get, but looking at it is very beautiful, all the colors and everything, and I have the red one, so I have an appreciation for this, but this looks great. I think if anybody missed out on the red one, and maybe they're going to reissue that one again a couple more times, but I think this blue one is really awesome, and if you are into the Beast Wars at all, this is one of the best Masterpiece Megatrons for Beast Wars they've made. So, Masterpiece is kind of light this week, and I have to say that Legends, there's a little bit going on, and more going on in the main line, but I completely missed that Magic Square's putting out their Cliff Jumper, and I actually found it on Bobby Skullface's page. I didn't even catch this was a release, and I was meaning to pre-order it, and I never did. Maybe that's why I missed it. But I went ahead and got it from Show Z. You can get yours there too. It is a nice looking figure. I like their Bumblebee, so I imagine I'll like this too. But again, I really, really, really want them to put these back out with a metallic, nice looking paint job. So here we go with the Cliff Jumper in its alt mode. And I think the alt mode is weak. I think the alt mode in Bumblebee was weak. The alt mode in this one is weak. And I'll just openly admit that. But I don't display very few Legends in alt mode. I mostly do the bot mode. Same thing in my Masterpiece. So I could give it a pass. Especially for the price. It's a pretty good price at $32.99. Next up, I do want to say Iron Factory, the EX47 Void Tyrant, the Legend Scale Galvatron, looks amazing. And I am not one that likes the designs of Iron Factory. I'll admit it, it's a little too stylized for my take, and I still think this looks great. It looks amazing. Probably because the Galvatron sort of gets into a bit of a different style from the movie, so I can accept a little bit different style for this guy, but he still looks good. Here's his cannon mode. Now this doesn't make any sense to me, but it's still what Iron Factory did, and it looks good. They have good quality materials, good quality paint, good quality everything. So I'm sure everyone's going to be happy with it, but what's coming up next is even better. So Iron Factory, the EX49P, the Last Prophet, is a Legend Scales Alpha Trion, and I believe it's a kind of a remold or repaint or reuse of their Scourge design, but I think it's a very effective remold, reuse of their Scourge design. Love the color scheme, love the aesthetic, and I think this would mesh well if you're a super ultra G1 guy like me. It would still work in your collection for an Alpha Trion. So here's the alt mode, and the alt mode does really show off a lot of the Scourge in it, but there it is. It looks good. At least they gave it an alt mode. I really don't think this character needs an alt mode, and I don't think anybody's going to display it like this, but I might be wrong. The next Legends topic here is the Kang Toys CY Mini 01 Firmament, and this is their Legends Scale Dive Bomb, and it looks pretty good. The colors are a little different than I expected, but I do think it still looks pretty good. I think it looks good because it's a little bit different. Here is the alt mode, and the alt mode looks good, okay? Again, this is a bit of a stylized take on the G1 version of the Predaking, and I'm okay with it. But this particular figure, because the wings are a big part of the figure, it does look like they're semi-transparent. I might be wrong on that again, number 2, but it looks pretty good to me. Well, and here's the arm mode, which is pretty much all you're going to see of this figure once it's combined, and most people will display it combined. I like the way it looks. So getting into some Hasbro mainline news, we got the Transformers Generation Shattered Glass Collection Jetfire. Here's the thing, it's up for pre-order right now at Hasbro Pulse for $91.99 plus tax, but I think you get free shipping on that thing. I think it's beautiful. I love Jetfire. He's my favorite. Skyfire, my favorite character, but I'm still on the fence because of the price. It's kind of expensive. Although it looks good, I have what really is Skyfire already. Do I need this? Even with the great purple and black color scheme? Here he is in the package. I do think every Shattered Glass figure they've made, the color scheme looks amazing. The figures look amazing. I kind of feel like I'm missing out on the whole thing because I've not gotten one yet, but they do look really good. And the packaging is cool too. And if you're a Mitten package collector, you'll love this. And of course the alt mode and how all of the parts could sort of work on the alt mode. It looks good. Different colored, the jet pieces, the blast effects that you add on to it are blue. That looks kind of cool too. So what's starting to show up in stores around the world? Well, Singapore is getting their red alert. I believe this going to be the Walgreens one here in the US? Maybe so. And so looking forward to that. And it's exciting to know if it's showing up in some countries. It'll be coming here soon. Kingdom Wave 3 Deluxes are out with the Weaponizer, the Trax, and the Scorponok. Well, not that Scorponok, but they're showing up at Target, so I'll be watching my Target very closely. And Canada is starting to see some of these reissue versions of Megatron showing up. $50 or 70 Canadian, but it's still kind of exciting. It's going to be fun to see this. I remember the 90s when these were on the shelves. Lots of fun. So we got more information about the Hasbro Pulse exclusive version of the Ravage. It's the Cybertron Deluxe Covert Agent Ravage and Micromaster Decepticon Forever Ravage official reveal. This figure is cool, and it comes with a G1 figure. We talked about it last week. It's $44.99, Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and will be available on November 1st. Here we go in the, I guess, alt modes, and looks good. Exactly what I pictured from the cartoon, and it's hard for me to say no because I do love Ravage, my favorite of the cassettes. So we got some in-hand pictures of the Transformers Generation Selects G2 Ramjet, and it looks good. Another figure. This is the third one in the purple and black color scheme that we're seeing today. looks really good. I like it, and I'll probably have to pick one up. But all those people out there with all the colors of Seekers for Earthrise kind of need to go after this. Don't forget about the G2 Sunstorm. Or is it Sandstorm? So we got some images from a set for the next Transformers movie. The problem is Mirage is a Porsche, and again, Mirage was like a race car, not a Porsche. So not 100% sure why they're doing it or where they're going with it, and not sure if they're using two Porsches to try to keep them going to work on the movie. But it's interesting and exciting to see that there's something going forward in the franchise, even if you don't care about live action or the Bumblebee franchise or the Optimus franchise or where we're going with this. It's still fun to see. But the most fun is when we spot the Optimus Prime cab that's getting used for the movie. But this makes me think, when you're driving and you see a cab over truck, the very occasional in the US cab over truck, you think of Optimus Prime. And if you see one that looks like the Masked Rhino, you really get excited, right? I mean, come on. Am I the only one that does that? Okay, so I want to say there's a new Haslab project teased, and I've spent way too much time on my channel talking about Haslab to not talk about this. This is going to be something Victory related. They're thinking possibly Star Saber. So we got a Takara Star Saber. We've gotten the Star Blade, and that's a good figure too. I love it, actually, better than the Takara. So what's going to be with the Haslab? Will it really be Star Saber? I don't know why you'd make a figure that could effectively just be a $80 Commander class figure. A Haslab, so there's got to be a lot more to it. Educated guess. So transitioning into Star Wars, we got a couple bumps in the road before we get there. Haslab's making a couple of new announcements. Galactus is, I guess, the biggest character in the MCU. So Marvel Galactus is going to be huge, like 3 foot tall, $400, and they need 14,000 to make it, which they're going to hit that goal easily. They're already at like 6,000 or something like that. They're almost halfway there. But this did not go in a day. It did not do the one-day thing like the Sentinel. The Sentinel is a sort of an army builder, kind of like a Bat or a Cobra Trooper. It's an army builder in a way. Most people really only want one Galactus, in my opinion, or from what other people have told me. I'm not that into it, but it still looks great. I think it looks great. Looks amazing. A little bit better than those Jack Pacific ones they were putting out. Those big old, 3-foot figures back in the day. But then you look, and there's some sort of a little monster down there for Haslab. Yeah, we'll talk about that little monster at Haslab when we get to Star Wars. But this past week, Super 7 announced what they're doing with G.I. Joe, and they're doing the Ultimates line. Those look great, very classic style. They're also giving us the reaction for $18 a piece. So I held off a little bit of information for my news, but I made a really good video, well, a big video. Maybe it's not good, but it's a big video for what I think about this whole line, and you can go watch that. I put that out Saturday, but for this, I held back some information. So Brian Flynn says that he really expects this to be a minimum of 5 years, and if you think 5 years, they probably do about maybe 10 waves. He wants 10 years. He wants it to be like Motu, but I gotta tell you, G.I. Joe is way, way, way bigger than Masters of the Universe. He really was kind of basing it on Masters. He might have hit a gold mine here in a 20-year deal. This might go forever, and they make all like 300 characters in all the different outfits and costumes and all that. But that's going to get real expensive. But if they do make like 20 figures at $55 a pop, that's going to be real expensive. Okay. I'm not going to wait too long. Haslab was a reveal slip of Rancor. Everybody expected Rancor to be the next Haslab, and that was the reveal slip in the live stream. And it's okay. I'm excited for it in a way. but I'm not excited for the price point. So I think really a Rancor, like a Black Series 6-inch scale Rancor, which will probably be about 2.5 foot tall and massive. And I actually have a very specific place I could put mine in a display that I already have built. So I'm excited for it myself personally. But will I get 2 or 3 like I did with the Razor Crest or the other Haslab projects? I don't know. I don't know. And I know they've made other in the past that are really good for the vintage collection that almost could work for your Black Series. So it's sort of a question here because there are like 4 different types of Rancors that have already been made. What's going to make this one different? They also had a reveal slip of a Death Star 2 playset. Death Star 2 meaning that they're still building it before it blows up again. And the thing about the Death Star 2 playset is they say it's going to open up and it's going to work kind of like the BB-8 playset. Yeah, that thing opened up. That worked. They just took the BB-8 playset and molded the Death Star around it. Is that what they did? I bet that's exactly what they did. But my son had a really good idea. What if all these slip reveals are to Rian Johnson you? Maybe they're trying to subvert expectations and Rian Johnson you. And they're completely different things coming out. And they just are screwing with us. And they did it on purpose. It's a possibility. Yeah, it's a small possibility. But I do want to say that when I hear all these people and these executives, these live streams talk, it feels like they don't care about the franchise. They just want to suck the money out of my wallet however they can. So we got the new Vintage Collection Wave hitting Target on the East Coast here. I was able to get like a Leia and another figure of the AT-ST in the Vintage Collection at a local store like a Walmart or something in Oklahoma City. But this is showing up now, and I think this is a little bit more exciting than what we were getting with those 2 characters. But what I'm hearing is they're going to switch to a better card back. I had to pick from a bunch of mangled card backs to find the least mangled card back in my road trip to get my collecting done, and it's frustrating. So if they do switch to a better card back, well, first off, you're like 3 years too late, but I still appreciate they're doing it. These figures both look good, and the card backs also look really good. So we got some reissue Black Series figures at a Target event, and I hear Walmart's doing a similar event coming up this week that Target did. So check Walmart out for this Target event and the Walmart event. But they're reissuing stuff that I don't know the quantity of these. I think it's like really, 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 really low quantity because they sell out in minutes. The Joe stuff is still up. You can still get a few things from Joe like the Trooper and this, that, and another. You can't get any of these like the very next day. They're sold out. So I guess we got to see what's in store at Walmart at 7 a.m. Pacific time. Wake up early in the morning to get nothing. Again, like Target did. But I think Walmart could handle it better than Target. And I think Walmart orders 2, maybe 3 times the quantity as Target. So you might have a better chance of getting whatever Walmart's putting out. We don't know it. But check it out on the 22nd of July at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What else is going on out there in the collecting community that I missed? I hope I helped you out a little bit. Like and subscribe, and Titanium Hanger out.